Hello there and welcome to the Impact Zone podcast. How are you guys going today? We are having another look at the updates to the Rebellion card. We talked a bit about Hammerstone versus Josh Alexander on the recent TNA Impact review. Their match now being last man standing. I already said that I felt like they really needed a stipulation. But again, like I said, like when it was going to be tough with this card, like because there's so much on this card and so much that already has stipulations on this card. Not everything, but literally there's a lot of stipulations on this card. So, and it's like before this was like happening, they had Monsters Ball on TV. So it's like, there's a bunch of stuff kind of going on with Full Metal Mayhem and whatnot. So that's already a fair few stipulations sort of going on around the same time frame. So, but they needed a stipulation of some sort because otherwise it just felt like the idea to end this feud would be like kind of like very meh, because they need something to make this like it's over. You know, they're gonna go their separate ways. Hammerstone's gonna go into another thing. Josh is going to go into another thing, etc. They're not going to be, at each other's throats after this. They're going to be going in different directions. Which, like feuds can continue for a long time, but you need to break them apart too. You can't just have it all the time, but you need to, remember, hey, this is a thing, and it was a thing, it is a thing, people still remember it, and, you can't just ignore that it happened. It's one of those things that you need to, why, like, if these guys are going to come together, like as a tag team or something later on, whatever, you can't just be like, oh, we'll put them in a tag team. Or wait, like they've had this massive rivalry last year or whatever. Like, what? Hey, that makes no sense. Like, but you could make it like it's a strange bedfellow situation, blah, blah, blah. Like, and them saying, hey, we've had our differences, but tonight we've got to work together in this match, etc., like, or whatnot. So, bam. Update. Numbers 2 and 3. Joe Hendry taking on Rich Swann. Talked a little bit about this one. This one, I think this one is kind of tough. This one is pretty tough because Rich has this new gimmick. What are you going to do with that new gimmick? And it seems like he's doing some tag team stuff. Very cool. I don't think that's, to me, all that thrilling for this new character. So, like, but where are you going to take it? What are you going to do with it? Like, Joe just recently lost to Crazy Steve. That's in that. But again, it feels like there's a big rivalry here between Hendry and Francis that still isn't over. It kind of involves Swann. So it kind of feels like the result per se, well, it does matter, but it doesn't matter because the feud's going to continue overall. So, again, I feel like you kind of want the babyface to be up against the odds, up against the adversity as much as what you can. So, again, I kind of feel like you should position it like that in this regard with wins and losses, etc. So, again, it sucks that Hendry's kind of already lost a few matches and whatnot, but the numbers game are there, and you've got that kind of quote-unquote excuse or whatever that he didn't really lose to Swann. He lost to Swann and Francis in a sort of tag team situation. The numbers were against him, etc. So I feel like that's still fine. I feel like Swan, like even though he got the tag team win this week, he needs that big win, especially against like Hendry, like to sort of solidify his own like narrative within his story. He's doing better now than what he was doing. He just beat the person that he thought, has caused him all this problems, which was Joe, sort of thing, but it really wasn't in some regards. But still, like, it is tough to sort of look at that and sort of go, well, where is it? Like, where is this continuing to go? Where can it go? Like, how can Joe kind of go up against, both of these guys? Like, he can't. He's got to find somebody to tag with. So, interesting to see where it sort of builds and goes after this. So, we'll have to wait and see more. DK invoked their rematch with for the Knockouts tag team titles against Spitfire. Like, they hot potatoed the titles before, so I don't know. Again, I just don't think that they should hot potato the titles, and I don't think that they will. But again, they might just do it because it's those titles that really don't feel like they mean anything. Like they shouldn't really do this if they want the titles to mean more. I don't know. It's tough, really tough to make those titles feel bigger and better and more important than what they are, because they're just not in a good position in regards to that. So it sucks a little bit, in all honesty, that they sort of can't do anything with them right now. I mean, it would take a big shift in the Knockouts tag division and in the division as a whole for those titles to really start to feel like they mean anything. They really need to have been held by somebody for a long period of time, and really need like a lot more teams to flesh out that division so that they are being defended and they have legitimate challenges and they have legitimate stories going on. They do have legitimate stories and they do have legitimate matches, but again, it's like the same 3 or 4 teams and that's it. Like, I don't know. It's tough because it sort of feels the same thing with the tag team division. There's only the same like handful of tag teams, like, or whatever. And that's not bad if they're all really top tier tag teams, but yeah, I don't know. So I feel like Spitfire, in my opinion, they should win on multiple levels. Just they shouldn't lose these titles. They shouldn't hot potato these titles for, but again, the division is so thin that it's like, well, what are you going to do? Like, but it almost feels like they're doing something with the whole Alicia Edwards and Masha Slamovich thing. So it feels like they're going to have a tag team title match at some point. Maybe, I don't know. So you're kind of waiting to see that. So again, like, why would you write that in unless there's going to be something there? I don't know. It's tough. Like, and like, I get that maybe they're just like, well, wait till Killer Kelly comes back or whatever. I don't know. But I don't know, dude. No, I honestly don't. Like, because the titles are already in the garbage in many ways. Like, again, like I've said it a few times, like they might as well just get rid of those titles and just like actually have like stuff building for number 1 contendership for the Knockouts title anyway, in a singles realm. They should just like have this as a fatal 4-way or something. I don't know. It's tough. Again. And then what are they going to do after this? Like, again, for the Knockout singles division, they always have to, cut and hybridize the tag team division for the singles division. People that are tag team guys have to lose to the champion because there's just not enough people on the roster for them to fight all the time. So it's like, cool, you just have to make your tag teams look, bad in some way. you know, or just like, oh, well, they've got no one else to work with, so this is what we're going to do. Like, what? And it's not legit enough because, again, you know that this is just a tag team person most of the time. And it's like, well, they haven't got really any story and haven't really got any build, so there's no real, like, position for them to win. So it sucks like that, but it is what it is. I'm having the distinct feeling that this is going to be close to about it for everything that's going on right now. Like, there is some other kind of stuff going on, but we know that this is where we're at right now. Maybe there's going to be more later on, but then again, the spaces that I see that are going to be filled, like I said, with Hammerstone, he's a future like top star. Absolutely, he could be the world champion within the next year. Absolutely, like I could see that. That would be like cool to see him like hold that title at some point. When, where, and how is like more of the thing. Like, it's not just this guy could be like a top guy. He obviously could, but like when, where, and how, and why are you going to do that? Like, because like I think Moose, like, again, should have a really, really long title run. Like, not like Roman Reigns level long, but he should have like at least a year long run with that title, I think, or probably more, a year and a bit, maybe. That's probably where I would say, like, that's probably pushing the limits of how long the title run should be, like a year and a bit or so, maybe like a year and 6 months or something, maybe something like that. I'm not really sure, or maybe like whatever it is, I don't know. But yeah, I feel like that's the way you should like frame it. You should be framing it like this is going to be a nearly 2-year like title run, or a year and a half, or whatever title run at least. Like, so, but who does he lose to? Josh is always the most obvious answer, but I don't know, maybe Nick Nemeth. Like I've said before, I think that does paint a good story. That, like, I think in it, like, again, you say in a year and a half's time or whatever it is, that would make sense. I don't know. Like, I felt like you should, like, it feels like it should be at Bound for Glorious Anniversary, but it's tough because I feel like, again, you should drag it out as much as what you can to that point. You shouldn't just get, like, it's always the story. It's always drama and build and, you know, a process, not just, oh, well, we did it, 6 months later or whatever it was. No, it was a year later. Like, same with, like, Roman Reigns. Like, it was a year later that, like, he lost to Cody. So we're going to stretch this story out. How are we going to do that? I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure what they should exactly do. But again, like, if you're going to say, let's go from here, we're going to have him lose. Like, again, like I said, in this match, I think that he should lose. I don't know whether he will lose. I'm not psychic or whatever. But I think he should lose. I think that's a better narrative. I think that's a better payoff for when he does win it, if he does win it. Like in a year's time, or in 6 months' time, or whatever it is, or in a year and 6 months' time, or a year and 8 months' time, or whatever it is. I think that's a better story if he, like, is on this journey and he, says, yeah, I lost, but I'm not gonna quit. I'm gonna keep coming. I'm gonna, and I'm gonna earn my stripes, and I'm gonna wrestle everyone, and like, get back into that position one of these days. And keep in there, and like eventually get to that point where it does make sense, and it works out, and you've got a bunch of heels like Hammerstone and whatnot. Maybe Frankie Kazarian, I don't know. To kind of challenge for that. And then you've got a whole bunch of really good baby faces like Joe Hendry. Again, I feel like Joe Hendry should challenge Moose for the title at some point. Jake something, I feel like he should challenge, even if it's like something small at some point. He should challenge for it, like it's on free TV or whatever. But yeah, like you need to do that sort of thing with building like this sort of thing. It's not just let's do this thing. It's let's plan out how we're going to do this thing and make people go, oh crap. Like I think that TNA is going to put the title on Nick Nemeth. In this position, I feel like people might think that they're going to do it, but I think like the smarter fans who know a little bit more will probably go, I don't think they're going to do it. Like Nick in New Japan, he won a mid-card title effectively, and I think that's fine. Winning a world title, like in the first like couple of months of him being there, I think that's the wrong decision. I don't think that that's the right decision. I think that, again, we'll talk more about this later on, but again, like I just don't think it's the right decision. I think that they should wait, they should hold off. Like what they should do between now and then is going to be, again, even again saying the same thing, like I was just talking about Nemeth. What are they going to do with Moose? Like who are they going to get to challenge Moose? Like, again, the most obvious one is Josh Alexander, but there's got to be other people that are on this roster that you can build up. Jake something, maybe. So I don't know, like Joe Hendry, so again, like you've really got to give that time, and maybe PCO again, but still, like you really need to give both of these guys stuff to do for that year, not just cool, we're gonna coast along, we're gonna see what happens. Like again, like something could be coming, so we'll have to wait and see for that, and where it's going to be and how it's going to be and where it's going to kind of fit in and all of that. But again, I don't think that they need that really, because like the top of their, like even though I said only a couple of names there, the top of their card's like really, really good. It's just like building those stories and getting the positions of the people in the right direction to build those feuds and those fights that people want to come and see. So, but they do that. And they do a really good job of it and whatnot. That's why I tune in every week, and that's why I enjoy it every week and whatnot. So, and then, you got to do something, like every time, because it's like, you've got to get that wrestling world buzzing, and it's really tough to do that. And that's what we're here for. Again, we're here to, try to support them as best what we can in their pursuits to do it. So, but anyway, guys, I think we've exhausted this one for now, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. And if you have, I hope you will join me again for another one.